Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Jamar here once again. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar here once again, and we are here to cover this week's episode of Insecure. I know I missed last week, but I was trying to find a way, because usually my normal review format of trying to do like a play-by-play of everything that happened in the episode works for some shows, but not necessarily this one. This one's very concise, and I feel like it opens a lot more discussion about the events, and as opposed to just a play-by-play of what happened. So I'm gonna try to talk about just various points or events that occurred in the episode that I feel like we can expand into a broader discussion, and then we can talk about that in the comments. I think that might work better, and then it might keep the video a little bit shorter, more concise. So we'll try it, see how it works out. But I'm excited because this was a really good episode, so let's go ahead and get started. So Issa is late at night making herself like a midnight snack or whatever, and she's scrolling through her Instagram, and she notices, I guess Nate had posted a picture within the past few minutes or so, and so she DMs him and, you know, asks him like, why can't you sleep? Or what do you know? She said, what are you doing up? And, you know, like we be scrolling and we be, you know, lurking or whatnot on social media, and it's somebody that we have, you know, a history with. We would like to hit him up just to see, you know, if they decide to respond. And he's like, you know, I can't sleep. And she's like, me either. And he asked her like, do you want to talk? And she's kind of like, because, you know, it's that moment where it's like, he completely ghosted me. Do I want to entertain him? I kind of want to talk to him because I still like him. And I feel like I can't really talk to Molly right now, so I want to talk to somebody. I feel like those are all of the different thoughts that were going through Issa's mind at the time. And so she does decide to hit him up, and he's asking, of course, about the block party. And the subject of Molly comes up. And I want to believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this scene of her laying on the couch talking to someone, we didn't know who it was at the time, right at the beginning of the season, is when she said, you know, I don't fuck with Molly no more. And that's what kind of laid out the whole premise of the season of how her and Molly's relationship sort of diminished. And it was really sad to see, because we kind of watched it slowly boil under on both of their sides. And at this episode, and particularly at the end, we saw everything come to a head. And this episode, I really liked how supportive Andrew was as Molly's boyfriend and partner, because she's trying to pick out an outfit of like, what do you wear to like a block party in January? And he's like, it's LA, like it's majority summer or warm climate all year round. So you don't really have to just wear what you would wear outside to the park, you know what I mean? And, you know, Molly's still going in this headset of, you know, she didn't come to my thing or some other event that she had, and she's trying to come up with these excuses or just, you know, make this whole declaration of why she might not have to go or why she shouldn't go to this block party. And Andrew's like, okay, well, let's just not go. And she's like, well, of course we have to go. And he's like, then what are we talking about? Like, why are we having this whole drama, this whole thing about why you should and shouldn't go to this party if you're just gonna go anyway? Why complain? You know what I mean? So I was liking this whole different attitude from Andrew this week. And when we get to the actual block party itself, you know, the events are going on, people are performing, people are bombing on stage. She starts to notice that there's like a lot more of a mixed crowd. She's wondering like, where are all the black people at? And you know, if any of us know, if an event starts at 5, there's a thing, for those who may not be of African-American descent, there's a thing known as CP time, or colored people time. If an event starts at 5 o'clock, we won't show up until like 6:30. Why we do that, I don't know. I think we do it because, or at least sometimes, I don't know if I'm just tricked, you know, into thinking this, but it's like, okay, the event starts at 5. No one's gonna be there at 5. People are gonna start trickling in, and I wanna show up when everybody's already there, drinks have already started flowing, like, you know, the event has kind of gotten, you know, started. Then I just wanna walk in. I don't wanna walk in and wait for it to kind of, you know, get going. So I wanna say that's the mindset, or at least that's mine, but so eventually, you know, the black people do start coming in, and Issa's, you know, waiting outside, and then Molly comes over. Now, prior to this, Andrew and Molly had a situation, or not really a situation, but a conversation, I should say. And they're seeing everything going well with the block party, and he makes a point to say, you know, maybe this is why, you know, you and Issa have been kind of at odds with each other, because she's been working so much. She may not have been able to have the time to give it to your relationship like she normally does. And he made it, what really drove the nail in for this is that he said, remember when you couldn't really fit me in the schedule when you were working so hard? And it's kind of like, you make a good point. So this is Molly in her mind, like, you know what? That's a good point, because I was doing the same thing to him that I feel like Issa's doing to me. So she tries to go over to Issa, bring her some food. You know, I feel like you've been, you know, working so hard, you may not have gotten a chance to eat. And there's still like this tension, and it's very weird. Like, even when Molly got there, like, they gave that really, like, I don't want to say it's a shady hug, but it's kind of like when you don't really vibe, when you're not vibing with somebody right now, but you want to be cordial and speak, you just kind of reach over and kind of tap, and you know, you know it when you feel it. You know it. So in addition to, you know, the whole tension with Molly, Issa's walking around. Of course, she's taking care of things. Her assistant's helping her and whatnot. And she sees Condola over, and she's kind of walks up like, you know, I couldn't really get in touch with you. You know, you've been kind of dodgy with me lately, and I wasn't sure if you were coming. And, you know, Condola has this whole energy like, you know, I'm sorry, I was just going through a lot, and, you know, like, Lawrence didn't tell you. And she was like, tell me what? She's like, that we broke up. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I don't know if, because Issa was, you know, when they had that conversation with her brothers, like, oh, you know, I put all that work in for her to enjoy the version of the man that I worked so hard to get. I couldn't tell if her reaction to them breaking up was genuine, or was it like oh, now I get to have my man back? You know what I mean? I don't know if that energy was petty or genuine. Now, surprisingly, when Nate showed up, I thought that there would be more of a, I don't know what kind of energy I expected. I don't know if it was gonna be awkward, because I don't think she's seen him since he ghosted her, unless I'm remembering it correctly. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think that he's seen her since he ghosted her from last season. But I mean, he was there, he was very supportive. He's like, you know what, you did it. We talked about this way back at Coachella, and you know, you made it happen. So he's very, very happy for her. And I don't know if Nathan's coming back in a full capacity, or if he's just, you know, around to just be a supportive member to Issa. If Lawrence is available now, is that whole thing gonna become the same Lawrence and Daniel back and forth? So I'm interested to see how that whole interaction goes between the two of them moving forward with the season. Now, a great moment that we did see, and was starting to give us a glimmer of hope that things were starting to get back to normal between Issa and Molly, is that, you know, they were having this performance of this headliner, and well, before the headliner showed up, they started playing like a lot of DJ music. They started doing the wobble, and of course, everybody knows the wobble, child. Like, the wobble is a great icebreaker for any gathering, especially for those people of color. So, Issa's out there with Molly, Kelly, Tiffany. You know, they're all having fun together, and Issa and Molly gonna have this interaction like old times. Like, they started having fun, laughing at each other. Like, it started to feel like the normal Issa-Molly relationship. And then she gets pulled on stage, and she introduced the headliner, the artist that they found. I think his name is Vince or something. I forget his name. He's supposed to be like a local LA artist. So he does the performance, he does his thing. Okay, great. So the block party is primarily over. And, you know, Andrew and Molly are walking out, and I think the main headliner's assistant or somebody within his camp came over, just like, hey, you know, what's up? Thank you for the hookup. You know, the event went great, blah, 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 blah. And Molly's like, you know, like, what hookup are you talking about? And he was like, oh, I hooked him up, I connected him with Issa. And then for some reason, Molly took that personally, because last week, what we didn't get to talk about is that Issa had asked Molly if she could use, you know, like her pillow talk skills, since Andrew, I guess, had some connections with a certain label that the artist was on. If she would be cool with asking him to perform at the event since her initial headliner dropped out. And Molly decided to keep the relationship and her friendship separate. Like, she wanted, I don't know. I couldn't tell if she was trying to make a good point or she just being petty. It was, in the moment, it was kind of like, what? You want to keep it separate? I don't know. I couldn't understand where she was supposed to be coming with that. But her and Issa had this awkward conversation. Like, she didn't want to help him get this this artist because she was trying not to mess up her relationship. It's like, okay. And Andrew tells her that, oh, you know, Nathan is the one that actually asked me to reach out to him to get the artist together. So then Molly realizes that, okay, so since I didn't help her, Issa asked Nathan to reach to Andrew instead of using me. So now she feels like, oh, she went behind my back. So she goes and she finds Issa and she's like, can I talk to you for a second? And she asks him, like, did you ask Nate to talk to Andrew about the artist? And she was like, yes. And he was like, but I thought we had a conversation. And Issa was like, that's why I didn't involve you. You know, if you wanted to keep that thing separate, that's why I took you out the equation. So like, what's the problem? And she's like, oh, so you just don't go behind my back? And she was like, you was acting like you couldn't do me this little ass favor. And then Molly's like, you always need little ass favors. So I'm like, oh shit. Here we go. This is where the truth starts. Let the true feelings of how we feel about each other come out. And so Andrew tried to, Issa tried to de-escalate the situation. Like, look, why are we doing this at my event right now? I'm not really trying to, you know, have this conversation with you. And even Andrew was like, come on, let's not do this. And she's like, see, like, if, let's not, you know, even your man has some common sense. Like, see, you are miserable. You are creating problems. You are doing this. You were doing that. And she was like, I cannot believe I was doing the wobbling with your shady ass and this, that, and the fourth. Like, they was going in. Like, they let all of that bottled up emotion that had been stirring for these past, what, 4 or 5 episodes, like, come to a head, like, how they really feel about each other. And what's weird is that this whole thing, I felt like they had that initial conversation, because if I remember, when Issa, they were trying to have, like, a schedule where they could talk and sort of move things over, or, you know, discuss and communicate why they've been feeling kind of off. I felt like had they not, you know, let that go and they actually took the time to nip this in the butt ahead of time, we probably could have avoided this situation. And a lot of things could have been smoothed over. A lot of things could have been sorted out a lot sooner than trying to come to it. Because it's hard to understand completely where Molly's coming from in this instant, because okay, if you didn't want to jeopardize the relationship, as you put it, you didn't want to ask him to, you didn't want to use pillow talk, you didn't want to engage him in that way because you wanted to protect your relationship, okay, fine. So why was it a problem for her to ask somebody else to ask the question, as if that is a hindrance to your relationship? You know what I mean? Because it seemed like her whole argument was the fact that, oh, I'm trying to keep that relationship separate, da 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 da. But I'm like, okay, well, if I take your relationship out of it, why is this a problem? You know what I mean? I think that's what Issa's whole thing was. And I'm just like, Molly, what is the problem? Like, what is truly the problem? Because I feel like Issa's not, like, I feel like there was like y'all both were going through a certain situation that you felt some type of a way about that you didn't want to share at the time. And I feel like now that you've let it fester for so long, that it's gotten muddied up and the whole problem is getting, you know, confused with a whole bunch of petty shit that doesn't really matter, but we're taking it out on one another, if that makes sense. And it really, like, that was actually a really good scene. Like, it felt so realistic. Like, Insecure is just real in general. Like, it doesn't even feel like a TV show almost. It feels like I'm just watching this happen in real life outside, if that makes any sense. But And you know, after the math, you know, for some reason they made it seem like somebody had a gun and everybody scattered. And that's the reason why because it looked like they was about to fight. Like they was getting all up each other's faces. She was like, get your finger on my face. And you know, when somebody start putting fingers in people's faces, it's about to be, okay? So, I don't know where this is gonna go, you guys. I'm very interested to see. I'm sure, or at least, well, we really don't know, but I'm hoping that they find their way back to one another, or we're able to see some sort of a resolution, because this is really just a result of bad communication, honestly. And because they didn't nip it in the butt sooner, like all of the stuff is piling on and on and on. So it's so bad. It's so bad. But I don't understand Molly's. If somebody can, in the comments, tell me what you think, or if you know what Molly's whole deal is, because I'm so confused. I don't understand. I don't understand her gripe with Issa, and I'm like, I'm sure she may have done something, but it feels like this is out of nowhere. I don't know. But that's the review for this episode, you guys. I hope this worked. I hope this format worked. I know there was like some, I do want to talk about Kelly. Kelly is still the comedic relief of the show. Her and her fake accent, child. And that whole thing with her and Issa's brother, they were shading the fuck out of each other. Him trying to catch her in the lie when she tried to talk with a British accent. I was like, child. Anyways, tell me again what you guys think of the video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Like, share, subscribe.
Washington, Washington.